People. I have a special guest by the name of Shane Gunner, a passionate Arsenal fan. His link for his channel is in the title. Right. What's going on, Shane, man? What's going on? I hope you're well. Hope you're well.
I'm all good, man. All good. Happy to be here. I like talking to other fans. I like talking to other fans that are, proper fans. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it, man. Looking forward to having a good old chat about football and whatever you have in store. And privileged to be on your channel. And thanks for having me.
Yeah, man. Thank you for being here. So my first question for you, of all the
Hmm.
clubs in England, and I know you live in Ireland.
Hmm. Yeah.
Why the Gunners? Why Arsenal?
It was actually by mistake. Funny enough, it was by mistake. I was about 6 years old, and I have two older brothers. They're 4 years older. So they were like on our estate, which would be over there, be like a neighborhood. So the estate was they were the older lads, so you wanted to sort of hang around with them, but you were tagging along, and they all had teams, and they said to me, "Who do you support?" And I didn't know. So when I went home that night, there used to only be about two matches a year shown in Ireland, and it happened to be that night it was Arsenal against Aston Villa, and Villa had a load of Irish players, and they had a guy called Tony Daly who was just this rapid winger,
Hmm.
and I just saw the two names on the screen. They both started with A, and when I went out the
Mm.
next day, they said, "Who do you support?" And I thought Villa or Arsenal, and I said Arsenal, and then because I picked them. Like I was only six, and then from that moment, because I fell in love with football to the point of an obsession. Every day was out playing football all the time. I was never very good. But I loved it. And by the time within 2 years, I'd say at the age of 9 or 10, I probably knew more about Arsenal history than I know now. I've probably forgotten most of it. I just immersed myself in it. You know what I mean? I loved it. Everything was Arsenal, and yeah, it was by mistake, but I fell in love with them very quickly. And all my best mates around the estate I grew up in, two of them are actually Villa, ironically. But
Mm.
we were all really really into football, and it was all we talked about. And of course, then it started to come out on computer games and stuff around that time. So we'd be playing them, and we'd be on the green, like the little patch of grass down in the middle of the estate. From the second, especially during the summer, during the school holidays, from the second you woke up till it got dark. So football was a big obsession, and yeah, just it was by mistake. But like a lot of things like that, we were only talking about it today on my channel that there's a big Arsenal channel out there, more so on Instagram.
Hmm.
But he supported QPR before he supported Arsenal, and I was like, how can he switch? I've never understood anyone that can switch. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
if I had picked
I
if
never
I had picked
understand
if I
either.
had picked the Oval Town that day, I'd love
Hmm.
them as much. I don't understand how someone can switch. I think there has to be something in you. But yeah, so it started as just picking a team because I was getting pressure from the older lads because they all had their teams,
Mm.
and yeah, that was it. And then I just fell in love. I fell in love with it, and it became an obsession from then on in to the
Mm.
point where sometimes I have to reel myself back and not let it get to me so much. You know what I mean?
Mm. Big up yourself, Stephanie Griffith. Big up yourself. Um,
Frank
Frank
Stapleton, Irish player to
Stapleton.
play
Yeah,
for Arsenal,
yeah,
and
yeah.
United.
Mm. So Shane, so like how you said you were, it was by accident you were immersed
Yeah.
into
Mm.
into Arsenal, right? Who would you say would be your favorite player you growing up watching into this current generation now?
I was a kid. Um, it was Paul Merson was because he was the attacking player, and because I was so young, you sort of go by again looking up at the older lads and they're talking about football, and none of them supported Arsenal, but they used to talk about Paul Merson being good. So I said, okay, he's my favourite player. Liam Brady was just before me. I
Hmm.
normally have him on my thing here, but about it. David O'Leary's there. He's an Irish player.
Hmm.
So David O'Leary was there as well because World Cup '90, I was about 9. Out of '89 season when we won it on the last day of the season. I have flashes of that, but I never pick it as my favourite moment because I was too young to really appreciate it. And the
Hmm.
reason I have flashes of it for, again, there was only ever about two matches a year shown, but that was shown. And I remember I had that jersey, the yellow one with the black sleeves. It was one of the first jerseys I had. So I was sitting in front of the telly with my jersey, and I go, okay, Arsenal won the league. So, and then I sort of went about my business as an 8, 9 year old would. I just sort of, oh yeah, we won the league. And I didn't think much of it. Then World Cup '90 came, and David O'Leary scored the winning penalty for Ireland in the second round against Romania. First time we are ever in a World Cup. And it came
Hmm.
up underneath his name, David O'Leary Arsenal. I said, oh no way, he plays for my club. And it was all that. By '91, I was mad into them, and Merson was there. But funny enough, I remember my cousin who was older was watching Crystal Palace against United in the FA Cup final. I think it was 91 or 92, 91, 92. And Ian Wright came on after a broken leg for Palace, and he scored 2. And my cousin was going, this guy's amazing, wait to see him. So I fell in love with Ian Wright then, and then Arsenal signed him. So Ian Wright was my first, where I just went, I love this guy, man. And I still do, even though he talks, but he seems to be on the other side of the fence with Arsenal, saying give Arteta more time and stuff like that. 1990 final, yeah.
You know, so it's funny you. Sorry, not to cut you off. It's funny you said that, because I remember we was watching Crystal Palace game versus City, and you said you had a special place in your heart for Crystal Palace. For Crystal Palace, and it's funny how you mentioned Ian Wright, because he played for Palace and then he went to Arsenal. So Shane, you could say that technically speaking, you had you back then a lot of people didn't know that Ian Wright was that much of great of a player until he signed for Arsenal, because I've read the backstory of him. Like he started out very late in his career. You know, he started out very late in his career, and he managed to win a Premier League title. So when I tell people that before Thierry Henry, Ian Wright was Arsenal all-time goal scorer, and they're like, how do you know that? Because I watch Arsenal, because Arsenal and Man United had a serious rivalry. You're supposed to know your opposition, bro. But I'm sorry, continue.
No, that was the Ian Wright, and it was back when teams only made sort of one sign in a year if you were lucky. So when Ian Wright signed for Arsenal, I couldn't believe it, because I was about 12 then, so I was really into it. And they were signing my favourite player for another team. But people forget, like you said, he was Arsenal's top scorer. But he didn't sign for Arsenal until he was 28. He was 28 when he signed for Arsenal, and he became the top scorer. If he had signed at 21, 22, Henry wouldn't have caught him. You know what I mean? Henry wouldn't have caught his record. So Ian Wright was... And Ian Wright then growing up, because Arsenal went through that period then in the 90s, 93, we finished 10th in the league. It was a league of 22 teams at the time. Yeah, because you played 42 games. We only scored 40 goals in the league. I think he got 30 of them, I think. So there was only 10 other goals scored. We only scored 40 goals in a 42-game season. But we won both cups. He missed one of the finals, but he scored in one of them as well. And it was just... Ian Wright was the player that, even though the rest of our team wasn't great at the time, other fans would say aren't very good, but I love Ian Wright. You know what I mean? So United fans would say, I'd love to have Ian Wright. Liverpool fans would say, I'd love to have Ian Wright. So he carried the flag for me. And then, of course, Wenger came in just at the tail end of Wright's season. He only got a season and a half out of him before he had to go. But Ian Wright would have been then the one that really stood out for me. But then, of course, when the Wenger year started, I suddenly had 7 or 8 players that I could say, you know, these players are winning and these players are winning Player of the Year, and these players it would just change. It felt like overnight. It kind of was in football terms. It was overnight. It quickly changed.
Let me tell you, for me, Thierry Henry, man, that brother, although he was although he was playing for you, man, I wanted him on my team as a kid. Secretly, I said, yo, why can't this guy play for Man United? Why can't you leave Arsenal to go play for my team? Because, brother, the pace and speed and the goals he scored. And when I used to watch Arsenal versus Tottenham, Henry always made sure he tries his best to score against Spurs.
Oh yeah. The statue outside of him skidding on his knees, that was from the goal against Spurs when he ran the length of the pitch. He ran the length of the pitch and slotted it in.
I remember my uncle was telling me a story, because my uncle is the person introduced me to football, by the way. Well, as much as when I was a younger kid, I didn't really understand it much until I maybe like around 7 and 8 years old. I fully started to get into football. And my uncle was telling me when Tottenham drew against Arsenal, they were celebrating a draw. And my uncle said Henry went up to, I forgot, I don't remember the name of the play. He said, we only needed 1 point to win the league, and we just won the league, and you're celebrating a draw. We only needed 1 point to win the league, and we won the league. So it's like why can't people understand at that point when we said we needed a point to win the
Yeah.
league. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, because the Arsenal players, you can see it in the footage being told in the tunnel. Will you not
Yeah.
celebrate if he's in the league today because it could cause trouble? And Henri said then Tarico was jumping in his face and stuff, and he said, you know what, screw this. You can see Henri telling everybody, come on, we'll celebrate. They'd agreed not to, but when the Tottenham players started getting in their face. But that was a different level of team. Like that was the 98 team, as Stephanie's put in as well, that the George Graham back four, that Wenger walked into that. And he did. He walked into a great back four. But when we went unbeaten, none of them were left. So Wenger had replaced them all. He replaced like Dixon, Winterburn, Keown. He replaced them all, the keeper. But that back four was unbelievable. And then we had Overmars, of course, and Anelka, and Bergkamp was there. Bergkamp was the biggest signing in Arsenal's history.
Dennis Bergkamp,
of course. But he changed everything.
Bergkamp.
He changed everything. Because he came in 96 before Wenger. And it was the drinking culture. And Tony Adams was coming to the tail end of his alcoholism. So he was really in a bad way. He was going on the pitch sometimes with a few in him, you know. So it was just pandemonium inside the club. And Bruce Rioch tried his best to sort of settle it down. And he did okay. He finished fifth, you know what I mean, which isn't bad. But we signed Bergkamp and Platt. And then Bergkamp was just this player that, again, it was like the Ian Wright thing where everybody was going, oh, man, Arsenal aren't great, but this guy Bergkamp. But he changed things as in he sort of laid the foundations for Wenger to come in and start saying about nutrition and I'm getting rid of ketchup out of the canteen. That was a big thing with the Arsenal players. They used to always sing on the bus, give us back our Mars bars, because he got rid of all the treats and all that. And he said, this is it, you're going to carb load before games. But because Bergkamp had been there a year already, and the Tony Adams and all, I've read most of the whoever's had a book, I've read it, and they said, you know, that he was doing all this nutrition stuff, and then he was playing for 90 minutes and barely breaking a sweat, and they were going, well, he must be doing something right. So they had sort of, their mind had been opened a bit, and just as Wenger came in, Adams got off the booze and he found himself again. So he was ready to be a captain again. So everything came together perfectly. And then Wenger came in halfway through the 96-97 season, and there was instant changes. And I already, even though he was an unknown, he had signed Vieira just before he came. So Vieira had come into the team, and I said, if he's signing more players like this, we're going to be okay. You know what I mean? Then, of course, the next season he bought Anelka for 250 grand, man, Nicholas Anelka, and he just took off. He took off and was just, he was one of the most fearsome strikers in the world at the time. Of course, he left then 2 years later. He wanted to go to Madrid and stuff like that. But Bergkamp was there. And Bergkamp, to me, a lot of people say Bergkamp is God and Henri's the king, you know, and I agree with that. Henri's a better player, but there's stuff that Bergkamp can do or could do that Henri couldn't. It's just the way he could see things. And when Henri gets asked who's the best player you played with, you always expect him to say Zidane. And he goes, no, it was Bergkamp. You know what I mean? And that's the highest praise, I think, to say that I played with Zidane, but I think Bergkamp's better. Bergkamp suited his game more. He was able to find his passes over there. But that was an exciting time to be an Arsenal fan. It really was. We were going up against the greatest United side in the history. The 99. A lot of people say the 2008 United team would probably beat that team. I don't think so, just because they had Ronaldo. That United team was ridiculous. Beckham, Giggs, Scholes, Keane. Four top strikers to choose from. Solskjaer, Sheringham, Cole, York. I mean, they were unbelievable.
For me, I remember when Henri, not Henri, Vieira and Roy Keane was arguing in a tunnel.
Oh, it's brilliant. I'll see you out there.
See you out there. Anytime they were fighting on the pitch. I'm like, this is why I love football. And now, when I see Shane, I see people hugging, smiling.
No.
All of that. If you feel me, hugging and smiling. You know what I mean? I'm just like, well, what the hell is this? Like, seriously, what in the hell is this?
You know what I mean? Sorry to cut off. Do you get that in American sports? Does that come into American sports? Because they're very competitive with basketball and with American football and stuff. Is there any of that sort of hugging and messing around?
Not really. No. It's
all about winning over there. You know what I mean? It's all about winning.
It's about a winning. It's a winning culture. Now that I see, even in MLS, they call it Major League Soccer. I don't really watch it much. So when I seen Messi was playing for Inter Miami, I watched a few games. I'm like, all I see Messi doing is just jogging. He's not really doing nothing. And these players are not really man marking him or anything like that. They're just letting him run past them and just score. I'm like, I guess he's such of a big player. he intimidates them so much that
The aura, yeah, yeah.
the aura. Although Inter Miami got banged up the other day by 5-0, I think. I forgot who they were playing, but I did see that they lost. So Shane, if you were in charge of Arsenal, right now, what are some of the things you'll change at the club currently?
Be a lot because of what Arteta's done to the club. There's going to be some cleanup for whoever comes in here. Some cleanup. The problems that with Arsenal run very, very deep, and because the press and stuff won't push him on it. If we're able to find these details, like Aaron and people like that, big up to Aaron, absolute legend, and Views, big up to Views. If we're able to find these things just by a Google search, the wage bill, the injuries, they're there for everybody to see. And Henry, of course, on the overlap the other week, questioned the injuries. And he was getting death threats and things from so-called Arsenal fans. Man, I mean, if you talk bad about Thierry Henry, you're not an Arsenal fan. And all he did was ask the questions that we want answered. Why can't a United team that's in turmoil get the finals? Finals every year, they're in finals. They're in turmoil, they're getting the finals. Why is there so many hamstring injuries? We all know. Henry just said, as a professional footballer, hamstring injuries aren't the player's fault because they have to be managed. You have to game, and they have all the equipment now. They're wearing all these tops which shows their heart rate, that shows how much ground they cover. They know. I'm pretty sure the physios can almost predict when a hamstring injury is coming. You know what I mean? Because the players are in the red, and people say, "Oh well, Arteta wouldn't go against the medics." Trust me, he would. He said it in press conferences, openly admitted in press conferences. Oh, Ben White played him for the first 3 months of the season while he needed a knee operation. Of all the injuries to play someone on, Ben White's never going to be the same again. I say this all the time on my channel or whenever I'm on stream. He is going to be one of these players now that's fit for a couple of weeks, out again, fit for a couple of weeks, out again. Tommy Asu's being absolutely destroyed. Saka's grade 3 hamstring. That's when the hamstring tears off the bone. Same with Havertz and the same with Gabriel. Only 3% of hamstring injuries are grade 3, and we've had 3 of them. So when Henry's, and he was very respectful the way he just raised the question, he should be going right for this manager and saying, these are clearly your fault. So that would have to come in. We don't really have many sellable assets apart from, say, Saliba. People would say, oh, Martinelli, okay, you'd make a profit on him, but only because Emery got him for so cheap. He only paid 6 million for him. So you might get, say, 40 million for Martinelli. You never get your money back on Rice. So again, if I came in, I just have to look at it and go, okay, we really need to just utilize the players that are here and get in 1 or 2 signings and then wait another year and go again, because people think now if we get a striker, all the stuff that I just mentioned is gone. So getting a new striker doesn't get rid of that injury list. And these are serious injuries that will they're going to affect these players for a long time. Because if you have a serious injury like that, you see with Michael Owen, he had a grade 3 hamstring. He was never the same again because another muscle goes, a knee goes, and this and that. And all these players, they're going to have to be nursed through next season. So for me, if I came in now and got Arteta out, it'd be damage control first. I'd have to settle everything down. I'd say, don't sign me Zubimendi. We don't need another midfielder. I was having this argument with a gal last night, and there's no point even trying to argue with that man. He knows nothing about football, but that's how it is.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, man. That brother Egel needs to answer for his crimes against football because, bro, I'm not an Arsenal fan, right? And I said, bro, the shit that you're talking, bro, is the reason why other clubs banter Arsenal because of people like you. Because of people like you, the shit you talk is ridiculous, bro. I've seen Arsenal go invincible. I cried because I wanted my team to win. When Van Nistelrooy missed that penalty, I was tearing up because I know it was over. And this man, let's trust the process. Let's trust the process. Arteta is a guy having us competing in Champions League. Bro, I see this man painting his face blue.
Yeah.
Painting his face blue and singing together, and all of this other bullshit. And this fool have the nerve and nerve and audacity to be an Arsenal fan. I have Arsenal fans over here in America. Like I went to school with. And some of them will say, yo, listen, I want Arteta gone. Arteta needs to be sacked, expeditiously sacked. He doesn't have a clue. He doesn't know what he's doing. And I'm like, bro, explain your logic to me. He said, I don't understand how Man United, my team, he said, Man United has shit season, but they've been into so many finals and won two trophies. And you have Arsenal fans saying, "Oh, we don't care about the FA Cup because the FA Cup is not important. We want the league." And this is my brother said, as an Arsenal fans, we supposed to we're supposed to compete in every tournament and win every tournament. It doesn't
Yeah,
matter the trophy. I said I'd rather us finish second and win a domestic trophy every year than us finishing second and not winning nothing at all.
yeah,
And
yeah.
Lee, when he broke down that logic to me, I'm like, yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense because that season with Ten Hag when we finished third and won a trophy, I'm like, okay, I'll accept that.
Hmm.
I'll accept that. At least we won some type of silverware. So Arteta only been there 5 years, won one trophy. And I was watching
Hmm.
because I like to watch other team managers press conference. Arteta come out to say, "Oh, we won three trophies." I'm like, yo, this manager is
Oh,
calling it
unbelievable, man.
charity
Gal
shield.
claimed that the other day. He claimed that the other day on a stream with me. He tried starting to say that now. He's starting to say 3 trophies. That's how desperate he's getting.
A
See,
charity
that's the thing.
shield.
It's claiming a charity shield. Arsenal shared that in, I think it was 93, maybe it was 92.
Hmm.
It wasn't even a winner. If you drew, you just shared it. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? It's a
yeah.
friendly game. But listen, when he just parrots whatever Arteta says, and do you know what? I was cooking him today on my show, and I had it out with him on Dan Potts last night. And big up to Dan Potts because
Hmm.
I said to Kenny Ken, I was talking to Kenny Ken today, and big up to Kenny as well. I said,
Yeah.
listen, if this guy wasn't so damaging to my club, I'd laugh him off. But he has 33,000 people subscribe to him that listen to his absolute nonsense that says that everything's all right with my club, right? And I guarantee you that out of the 33,000, I would say 32,000 are under 16, right? That subscribe to him.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I
yeah,
can
yeah, yeah.
guarantee that that's what it is. But they're the next generation. They're coming up going, everything's fine with this club. They don't know the history and they're going, okay, everything's fine. And him and Christian and your man Pincus and all these lads, they're only in it to succeed in social media. So they're Arsenal fans second to me. Where Lee Gunner, me, Aaron, we'd never sell our principles down the river. We go, we're fan first, and then we do this second. You know what I mean? So
Hmm.
they're not the second that they started trolling for likes when they're putting
Hmm.
up. He put up a short the other day. But does this mean the headlines like Gyökeres the sign and stuff like that?
Hmm.
And he knows it's just
So,
to get people to click in. So he's
so,
moved away from being a fan.
so, Shane, what do you think about this comment Lumen said?
Mm-hmm.
He said even Wenger was forced to bow down to the board, and so does Arteta, but fans don't understand it.
Everybody has to bow down to every manager has to bow down to a board. Every manager has to bow down to a board. But Arteta spent double the amount that Wenger did in 21 years. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
He's been backed, heavily backed. So when people go on about the board, Arteta's being massively backed to the point where his net spend is up around the 600-700 million mark because he hasn't really sold anyone. He lets them go on a free. He has been absolutely heavily backed. And that's the biggest issue, is that the whole squad now that Tierney's gone, the whole squad is they're his players. Every
Hmm.
one of them he's signed. Every single one of them he has signed. And he's replaced left back with left back with left back. He's replaced keepers 5 times. He can't get it right. Oh, I need a left eight. I need another left eight. I need another left eight. And he has one of the best young left eights in English football, but he's playing him at left back. Miles Lewis-Skelly, that's his natural position. He plays
Hmm.
left eight, and he'd be fantastic there. He has a 10 that could push Odegaard and Nwaneri. He's been handed not only a load of money, but a golden generation of youngsters as well. A golden generation of youngsters. Arsenal haven't had this many good young players come through in a row in I don't know how long. Lewis-Skelly has a massive ceiling. Nwaneri has a massive ceiling, and Saka has a massive ceiling. And people go, Saka's already great. Trust me, he'd be getting double the numbers if he was under a manager that played attacking football. But we play such negative football.
So
Track back.
and
If he was playing under Slot, he would have scored 25 goals this season.
the fact that Inter's manager went to Al Hilal now. He signed his contract going to Al Hilal.
Yeah,
Inzaghi would be perfect for you, man.
amazing.
Inzaghi would be perfect for you, man. But nobody understands that sacking Arteta would be the best thing for Arsenal. Nobody
It's the
understands
only.
that because we're competing in Champions League trophy. We went to semi-finals. We went to a final in the Europa League. But my question to Arsenal fans over here: what did you win?
Yeah.
Oh, we're above. We don't care about Man United. We're above a Man United. This and that. I'm like, but still, what did you guys win?
Yeah.
And my thing is, football is about winning things. Winning things.
Yeah.
Inzaghi won with Inter. He won with Inter. Although he battled 3 trophies this season, he's going to Al Hilal for a major payday, 26 million.
Mm.
26 million. And Arteta is sitting in the Premier League, 15 million, 15 million a year. I think he's currently making, if I'm not
15.6 or
mistaken.
something like that. Yeah,
Yeah, something like that.
15.6.
He's currently making, and all he keeps saying is a process. We gotta trust the process.
Yeah.
I hear him. Bring your shin pads. Bring your boots. Bring all of this. I'm just like, bro, what? Why
Yeah.
are you
It's
telling
all,
fans
it's all
to bring their
PR.
shin pads and bring their boots for? Does that make any sense?
No, it's all PR. He's trying to be the media darling. It's what he does. It's all PR. He talks. He contradicts himself. He's like Gigal, actually. He contradicts himself all the time. But when it comes to the money, Inzaghi in what 4.5 years at Inter, he
Hmm.
made a net profit on transfers. He made 114 million. So he was minus 114 million in spend. Where at the same time Arteta spent 500 million, 500 million, where Inzaghi. So there was a 614 million switch on money spent, and he won a league in that time. Inzaghi he won 2 cups and he won 3 Super Italias. Arteta won nothing in that time. So when they're talking about, they shouldn't be even held in the same conversation. Inter did get found out this season, but
Hmm.
it was just like they have a 36-year-old in Mkhitaryan playing as a holding midfielder. The defense is old. They just ran out of steam, right? They ran out of steam. But if he had been backed even with 50 million, say, to buy 2 or 3 players, which he would have got a 15 million player here and a 20 million here, maybe a little 10 million gem, they would have won one of those trophies that they didn't win. The league, even, they're only a point off
Mm.
Napoli, 1 point. So they just lost their legs. But
Yeah.
he hasn't been backed in any way. He's been forced to sell his best players, and he's still done
Mm.
better than Arteta. And people say, oh, he's got us competing. We did. Let's just put this to bed. This season, we didn't compete for anything, not for anything. Getting to the semi-finals of a cup and getting steamrolled is not competing. Getting to the final is competing. And even then, you could say with Inter, because of the way they lost, they weren't competing either because they got absolutely
Mm.
smashed, right? But the PSG game, PSG didn't have to break a sweat. They didn't get out of second gear. And then Enrique
No.
was asked on the pitch after the final who were some tough opponents, and he said, well, Liverpool gave us a game and Villa gave us a game. He conveniently left out Arsenal. Didn't even say they gave us a
Yeah.
game because
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
rolled over. The semi-final against Newcastle, we weren't in it from the word that we lost 4-0 on aggregate. In the last 7 semi-final matches, we've scored 1 goal under Arteta. In 7 semi-final matches, 1 single goal we have scored.
Mm.
So that just goes to show you that this guy he doesn't have it to get over the line. He doesn't have what it takes to get over the line, and he never will. He never will.
So Shane, question from Lumen in the comment here: would you want Odegaard gone to Al Hilal for 100 million?
Oh yeah, I'd let him go for a tenner. I'd let him go. Honestly, he's one of the worst players in the team, and the only way that we'll ever get him out of the first team is if he's sold, because Arteta will refuse to drop him because he made him captain. He'll never drop him because he made him captain.
Yeah, well,
So that's the problem.
the main thing I noticed about Odegaard. Odegaard hides from the ball.
Yeah,
He hides from the ball. I'm
doesn't want it. He's
like,
a coward.
especially I don't understand. We went down to 10 men, 10 men in the FA Cup, 10 men, bro. The referee sent off Dallo, so it was 10 men versus 12, and we still managed to beat you guys in the FA Cup. And the fact that the way how I see Odegaard was on the pitch, I'm like, Odegaard, you're supposed to be here. Why are you over here? Why are you so far? You're supposed to be near to the danger zone. If you take a shot, or you could pass it to Saka, Timber, anybody else who could put the ball in the back of the net. Why are you over here? Why are you over here? What yo, I don't get it, man, but I don't get it, bro. But that guy needs to go. But Arteta is not gonna, like you said, Arteta is not gonna let him go. He's gonna consistently play. Only time Odegaard won't play, I guess, unless he gets injured.
Yeah, and that's why he's just so stubborn. And the same with Havertz. That's why we're going for Sesko, not Gyökeres, because if he gets Sesko, he can rotate Havertz in and out. That's the way his mind works. He has to insist that he is right, and he'll flog it all the way until either the wheels come off, or Havertz out of nowhere scores one hat-trick in his whole Arsenal career, and you go, look, I told you. You know what I mean? So that's the problem. And with Odegaard, he hides from the ball. And I saw one guy, I put it on my morning show sometimes, he used a map and he was showing Odegaard running away from the ball. But he was a top gunner. He was trying to say that how clever Odegaard's runs are because he's opening up space. And you just see Odegaard running away. And he's saying, oh, look, he's opening up space now. And it's like, hey, come on. You're finding excuses for anything. Odegaard, when he scored that goal against Southampton on the last day of the season, that was just his 20th shot on target in the league all season. 20 shots on target. For our creative force. 20 shots on target. Chris Wood scored 20 goals. And our creative force is having 20 shots on target. Because he never wants the ball, but he does have it. He looks for the easy pass. I think it was against Real Madrid. He played 4 forward passes in the whole match. 4 forward passes. Our creative force.
And speaking of Real Madrid, if Real Madrid sells you, that means they don't rate you as a player anymore. And he came up in Real Madrid's academy. And you played with CR7. So if you play with CR7 at Real Madrid, when Real Madrid was in its peak prime, winning shit, I don't understand if you played against Ronaldo, Benzema, Casemiro, all of these players, you're supposed to be sitting there absorbing all the knowledge from them and making it into your own. Bro, man play with Ozil, Mertz Ozil, the assist king. And what happened? You come to Arsenal and you flop. And my thing is, I've seen, like I tell people, I've seen Arsenal win shit. I've seen Arsenal win shit. And when I tell people I've seen Arsenal win shit, oh, you don't know nothing. You're a Man United fan. All you do is talk about Man United fan. I said, bro, I watch other teams because I want to see who are the best players, so I could finally see if I could see a weakness the players have. And last time I checked, Arsenal biggest weakness right now is Martin Odegaard.
Yeah,
he's one of the club's biggest weakness because he doesn't have the passion and the aggression to do anything.
Yeah,
a reason why I say passion and aggression, it reminds me of Roy Keane. How Roy Keane was passionate and aggressive. That's from that mentality. I've seen Roy Keane put on the players in his team. He was captaining against Man United. That's the expectation I have for every captain. Not gonna lie, Bruno Fernandes doesn't have that. Bruno Fernandes is a better player than Martin Odegaard. Yes, I agree. Do I think Bruno Fernandes could agree to needs more improvement? Yes, I do. But at the same time, does he have the passion and the aggression that I grew up watching? No, none of these new modern generation football players don't have. So that's why I say sometimes for me, watching football is a little bit boring because I'm like, these players just don't. They don't have what it takes. They don't have that. They don't have that serious hunger no more. They don't. They feel like playing robotic and boring football is so enticing. It's so great. Yeah, you could win trophies playing robotic football, but how many times is it gonna work? Yes, it worked 4 times for Man City, but look what happened to Man City now. Man City fell off, and the one time I really needed Arsenal to wake up, and this B-rate manager Mikel Arteta, gave Liverpool the league. Shane, I'm heartbroken that Liverpool has 20 titles. I'm heartbroken that we gave Spurs. And
they're going to get more.
Trophy.
Liverpool are going to get more. I think as well now, the way they're built, you know. Yeah. The thing with City is, and you're saying about the robotic football, and you're spot on. They won 4 trophies with it, but that football's getting found out now. High presses and stuff are stopping the playing out from the back. But the difference between Pep and Arteta is that Guardiola, halfway through this season, realised that it was gone, and he's already started building to change the way he plays. He's already started by Christmas. We signed new players. They've changed. They're going to the next season. They're signing thingamajig off Wolves at left. Aït-Nouri coming in at left back. He's an overlapping left back. He's not an inverting left back. They're going to go full on overlapping left backs, fullbacks again, the way football used to be played. They're going to push the midfield in with Cherky and Foden and all these lads. And he's already going more like Liverpool and Newcastle now because he learned. Arteta will never learn. He will never ever. He's getting more pragmatic. That's why he wants Zubimendi to slow our play down even more. I didn't think was possible to slow our play down even more. But he's looking to now, and then he'll just go long ball to Sesko. He's turned us into Stoke. That's what he's doing. And again, you can win leagues that way, but he's not winning anything doing it. You know, so someone said in the chat that Arsenal made us relevant again, or Arteta made us relevant. That's such a myth. It's such a myth. Like Arsenal, if anything, he's made us less relevant, more of a banter club. People seem to think that he took us from the doldrums, right? Emery's only full season, he finished 5th, right? He finished 5th, got to a final of the Europa League. And then people go, oh, Arteta took us from 8th. No, he put us in 8th because he took over and he finished 8th. Then he finished 8th again. Then he finished 5th. He bottled the 4th place. But they paint it like he took over when we had been struggling in 8th for years. We hadn't been in 8th. He finished 8th. And then he finished 8th again. Then he, with no European football to play, we were in 4th. He got rid of Aubameyang, got rid of Ozil, fell out with them all publicly because he had cameras on him with that show that was on Prime. He wanted to act the big man. Yeah. And with 3 games left and 8 points ahead of Tottenham, he blew it. He should have been sacked then. He should have been sacked when we finished 8th. He should have been sacked when he blew all the money that summer when he bought in Sambi Lokonga and all these lads and 50 million on Ben White as a centre-back. Let's get it right. He signed him as a centre-back and he couldn't cut it. And he wanted to get rid of Saliba. People forget that too. He wanted to push Saliba out so he wouldn't have to drop Ben White. He get Ben White Saliba's number when he got him, which was just a big FU to Saliba. We don't want you. Then Saliba did so well at Marseille that he had to bring him back. And then he's like, oh, what can I do now? I'm going to have to spend 50 million on Ben White. You know what? I'll just put him at right back. That way I can keep playing. Now, he's lucky it worked out. I like Ben White as a right back. I really do. But he had never planned on that. Just like playing Skelly at left back. He'd never planned on it. And Skelly's wasted at left back. You know, Martinelli played down the middle when he came. He pushed him out the left. Yeah, we have Marino up front. He's a midfielder. We have Havertz up front. He's a midfielder. We have Martinelli out the left. He's a forward. We have Skelly out at left back. He's a midfielder. Everything is all screwed up with this guy, and it's just for him to show, look at what a genius I am. Look at the way I came up with this. So this myth of he took us from the doldrums, he put us in the doldrums, then took it from us. And even if he did take us from it, he hasn't won anything. We're the biggest banter club in the world now. And that's down to him and the likes of Igal who follow him. Now, Igal does only follow him because he's playing a character. I get that. He's trying to go down the YouTube route. But Arteta has turned us into a banter club with holding light bulbs and lemons and blaming the ball against Newcastle and using the speakers to play You'll Never Walk Alone and all this stuff. He's the one that causes this. I've never been more embarrassed to be an Arsenal fan. So the younger fans can say, oh, he took us from the banter era. Well, then ask me and DJB and Kenny Ken and all the older fans, what's the most embarrassed you've ever been as an Arsenal fan? It's right now. So you're hearing it from the horse's mouth. This is the banter era. This is the worst.
I hope you man hear what Shane's saying. He's a passionate Arsenal fan. He's been an Arsenal fan for years. And you hear what he's saying, people? Okay. For me, when I heard a video saying Arteta says squeeze the lemons. I'm like, bro, what? When I heard that, he said, and I said, guys, this is the light bulb. This is the light bulb. I'm like, okay, so what any of this have to do with football? Well, all of these analogies have to do with football. And I'm like, okay, Arteta, your best highlight all season was beating Real Madrid. So what if next season you get Real Madrid again and they slap you man up? What you gonna say then? What's the analogies you're gonna use? I could tell you this though, Shane. You, Lee, Southern Gunner, Dan Potts, and like a few other people. I can't think of the names, but you, Lee, Southern Gunner, DJB I could say are really genuine Arsenal fans. Everybody else is doing it for the clout, this and this and this and that. I don't really watch Dan Potts like that because I'm like only time I see him is like anytime when I see all of y'all on the panel. I never check him out like that. But anybody I see that's associated with that Arsenal fan channel, I'm not going to say the name, I don't take them seriously.
Yeah.
I don't take them seriously.
Dan's a real one. Dan stands by his principles. Even though he does beyond that channel, he stands by his principles. He doesn't sell out. Dan Potts is a real one. And Curtis Shaw as well stands by his principles. And of course, then there's Views and Aaron and people like that refuse to sell out. Sorry to cut across you, but that refuse to sell out. But I understand where you're going. Yeah,
because for me, my thing is I see on that channel. Oh, the reason why we didn't want the league because the Queen died. I'm like, bro, what?
Okay, come on, man. I saw that.
Bro, I'm like, bro, what? What did this? I'm like, what did this man just say? The Queen dying. So what does the Queen dying have to do with football? I'm
It's
like,
unbelievable. He played the Pope as well in a different one, I think. He played the
yeah, yeah,
Pope
yeah,
in
yeah,
another
yeah.
one.
Oh, anytime a Pope died, an English team has won, bruv.
Yeah, and he said
It's just,
8 out of 10 season. 8 out of 10
it,
season Arsenal had the season. He said. I
and,
mean, you
and,
can't.
and
When someone's saying that sort of thing, it's hard to argue with them because they are delusional. So you can't argue with a delusional person. You
exactly,
can't.
exactly,
You know what I
exactly.
mean? If you're talking to someone who says, "Oh yeah, like my dead father standing behind you," you can't argue with them because they're just in a different realm. Like you go, well, okay, fair enough. I'll just agree with you. I would agree to disagree. If you're seeing that, you know, what I mean, you're not really talking any sense. But this is the thing, man. It's these people are out to do it. And I said this before about Miguel because we're on that sort of thing. If he was to change his views, right, and say, do you know what, I want Arteta out. Number one, he'd lose about 15,000 subscribers overnight,
Of
right? Because
course,
they're
of
all his
course, of
minions,
course.
right? But the big thing for him is he wouldn't get on any panels. He wouldn't get on any of the big panels because he's not brought on for his football knowledge. He's not brought on because he's a nice guy. He's brought on because he's willing to come on and cause controversy. That's why I call him a Jerry Springer prop. You know what I mean? Remember it's Jerry Springer back in the day? And you know what I mean?
Yes,
And the guy would
yes,
come out and go, I've been sleeping with both sisters, and then it all kicks off. That's what he's
yes.
there for. He's just there as a prop. So if he started saying, agreeing with us, he'd just slide right down the pecking order.
Yo,
He wouldn't get on again. There'd be no need for him. He's a
yo,
cartoon.
Shane,
That's why I call him Barney the dinosaur.
Shane. I'm gonna share something to you. I'm gonna share my screen, right? I'm gonna share
Yeah.
my screen right now, and I put this in my channel description, right?
Mm-hmm.
Boom, right? It says on this channel we talk about football, not soccer. It's football. I do live stream interviews. I'm very straightforward. I don't sugarcoat anything. I
Yeah.
speak the truth and share my opinions on football club and on football in general. Let's vibe and chat and build a community. So Shane, me personally, if people don't like me because of what I've said in my description on my channel, it's okay because I am not a yes man.
Yeah.
I'm not a peon. I am not a follower. I will forever speak my mind. If I say
Yeah.
Bruno Fernandez, you played shit this game. You played shit.
Yeah.
If I say Erling Haaland, how the hell you miss a finish like that? You're shit. I'm gonna speak it because
Mm-hmm.
sugarcoating shit, it makes you a part of the problem. Speak
Yeah.
your mind, people. And this is it. This is why I don't like with these new generation of fans, right? They believe anything they hear and run with it.
Yeah.
Anything they hear, they want to run with it, and it's ridiculous. Like AK4 Pete, right? I did a stream with him the other day, and I tell him, yo, AK, I come across City fans because one day I was walking with my Man United kid on the road, and one of them, oh, you guys are shit. Yeah, lucky you have Vida. So I said, how long you been a City fan? Oh, I've been a City fan since 2019.
All right.
I was like, okay,
Yeah.
okay. So tell me what you know about the club. Yeah, we won the Premier League, you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
and Erling Haaland is a club legend. I'm like, Erling Haaland is a what? Club
He's
legend.
not a club legend. Far from it. He
I'm
needs
like,
about another 6 seasons of being top scorer to do that, mate.
exactly. So I said, so if you're a City fan, right? Tell me, tell me another club legend. No, Erling Haaland. Erling Haaland is the only club legend. Okay. So what's the name of the stadium you used to play before the Etihad? Oh, it's always been the Etihad. It always has been the Etihad. I'm like, what?
Oh, come on, man.
Yo, Shane. When the man said it always been the Etihad, I'm like, okay, man. Later in my head,
You
I'm
just have
like,
to walk away then, though, don't you? You just have to walk away then because there's no point.
Shane, I walked away, and I remember when I was learning about the club history when Old Trafford got bombed. We had to play. We had to share a game at Main fucking Road,
Main road. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I'm just like, I can't stand these new generation of fans.
Yeah.
I
So
can't
you
stand
see,
these new generation of fans.
the man from the Knock, whatever it's called, your man Alex Moneypenny's his name. He's on the Knock something. Big channel, big Arsenal channel, right?
Mm-hmm.
But he knows absolutely nothing about Arsenal. But he gets on Sky Sports, he gets on the Overlap. But there's footage of him on the Overlap, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Jamie Carragher's asking him questions. Lee plays it all the time. And he doesn't know about the Tony Adams goal, where the one with the statue. He doesn't know that we beat Sheffield Wednesday twice in '93 in the 2 finals. Oh, he's getting all these. Doesn't know more than 2 sponsors. And this is the guy out representing us. You know why? Because he plays the game. He plays the game, and he knows absolutely nothing about Arsenal and about football in general, just like that. Yet he has people subscribing to him that don't know that he knows nothing. So they just take his word as gospel. They take his word as gospel, and he's defending the injuries. He's saying, "Oh, it's down to the football governing body that we get so many injuries." Come on, because we play every three days. Every team in Europe plays every 3 days. 9 teams out of English football start the season playing games every 3 days. And because Arteta says it all the time, "Oh, we play every 3 days, guys. We play every 3 days, guys." And he keeps saying it and repeating it until like a cult leader, and then it gets stuck in people's head. If you keep repeating something, the people that listen to you will just start repeating it. You know what I mean? And that's why he says, "Oh, most goals in the calendar year, most goals in the calendar year," and he keeps saying it. And people start to believe that it actually means something. And it means absolutely nothing. It means absolutely nothing. But they keep repeating it. And like, I've fallen out with friends because they're Arsenal fans. And I was saying to them, Arteta's got to go. And one of them said, "Oh, but we have the most points in the calendar year and the most goals in the calendar year." The exact thing Arteta said, I said, we can't do this anymore because you've gone over to the other side now. You know what I mean? It's like in The Simpsons where they can't get Homer to come into the cult and they just start saying, "Na, na, 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 leader." And then he starts saying it and then he becomes part of the cult. This is the way they work. And I've never seen a manager as protected as Arteta. Never. Amarin is getting absolute pelters. And he'll be run out of the club soon if he doesn't turn things around. I don't know where you stand on Amarin. Would you give him another year? Or
I mean, at this point, I have no choice but to give him another year because he was brought in by these men shambles that don't know nothing about football. This Jim Ratcliffe talking about we're going to bring the best in class. Okay, you're specialist in failure, mate. Specialist in failure. Like Eric Ten Hag should have been sacked as he won the FA Cup. Thank you. Goodbye. Hasta la vista. Goodbye. Good riddance. Bringing this, he should have brought the man within preseason and see what he could do. But no. We went and got Dan Ashworth. After 4 or 5 months, he got sacked. Right now that Jadon Sancho is coming back to us, that helped Maresca won another trophy again, by the way, because Maresca got Leicester City promoted by winning a trophy. Now he won another trophy, a Conference League. So that's 2 more trophies than Super Duper Mick, people. 2 more trophies than Super Duper Mick. Yeah, and it's like, for me, Shane, I have no choice but to give him this season. But if I don't see no improvement within this season,
listen, because I think it was Van der Vaart or someone like that came out and said United's problem is that they wait too long. And I understand where he's coming from, is in that the manager's there 3 years and he finally gets a load of his players in, but they're not good enough. And then the next manager's to come in and he has to get rid of all them and then get his players in, and then they're not good enough. And the next man. So, but I just think the only thing that for me with Amarin was, yes, they were dreadful under him, absolutely dreadful under him. But the only player he got that he wanted was Dorgu, right? And he seems to really suit the system, right? He's done well. So that makes me go, do you know what? Maybe if he gets a few more that suit his system, it might work. Because Cunha, I wanted him at Arsenal, and he is perfect for that system. Absolutely perfect for that system. He plays on the left 10. He'll score. He's a player. And I said it to Views on our show the other day. I said, Cunha will get United a minimum, I'd say, of 3 games next season where it looks like it's going to be a draw or it looks like it's going to be a loss. And he'll score a goal near the end. He'll grab the ball, say, "Give me the ball," and he'll smack it in. And he'll either get just 3 points that would have been 1 or a point that was going to be 0. And as well, if he's getting Mbeumo as well, I mean, if you get a finisher, then I think you should be a lot, massively improved next season. He just needs, I would give him 1 more year. I'd give him the full year as well. I'd give him this transfer window and I'd give him the Christmas one and make sure you back him. But the thing is, if United are backing him, I think they're putting all their, it could be, if they don't win something or get Champions League, that it could be like a Leeds situation where they really, like, they could go under sort of thing, because apparently not getting into the Champions League really hit them. And then I see them out spend the money. I'm like, I thought they just got smashed by that, not getting into the Champions League.
Shane, for me, when we played them 2 matches in Asia, they were getting paid 10 million to pay Adidas because of not being in Europe.
Yeah,
they had to pay $10 million fine. So when I tell these men that I am mad that we lost to Spurs. I am livid. I'm livid that we
Mm.
lost to Spurs. We gave Spurs their first trophy in 17 years. Oh my God.
That was a terrible. You were awful in that final, by the way.
Yep,
Awful.
yep, yep. I
That was
know.
a real cowardly performance. Like they just had
And
no guts in that final.
Luke Shaw really pushed me over the edge.
Oh man, I'd
I'm
never
done
rated
with this
him.
brother. I'm
Never
done
rated him.
with this brother. I'm like, I don't know why they keep giving this guy Luke Shaw. If you're listening to this or anybody sharing this shit to you, cancel your contract, right? Cancel that
Please.
shit.
Yeah.
Please, just leave football for the sake of football because it has left you and you're not
Yeah.
good enough. And you're gonna come out crying and with all these friggin' excuses saying you're injured, you're injured, you're injured, you're injured, you're injured, you're injured, you're injured. Every season. I don't understand how Bruno Fernandez has more appearances than you, and you've been here longer than him, bro.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. 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 But listen, he's been stealing a living for his whole career. He's got like a rake of England caps as well. There's some players like that you just go, is it just me not seeing how bad he is? Why is he getting England caps? Why is he getting and all the? I think sometimes it's just their attitude. Maybe he's very good at brown nosing managers or something. I'm your guy, boss. I'm your guy, boss. Maybe he's one of them. You know what I mean? I'm your guy. I'm your guy. You know what I mean? Or he's probably always ratting out other players or something. I don't know what he's doing, but he's
I don't know,
stealing a
man.
living. That guy. He's stealing a living, and the injury prone thing doesn't help. But you have a few players like that you go, is he still Lindelof? Is he still there? What's he still doing there? You know what I mean? There's a few players like that when you go, what's going on? So they do need to clean out. You know, Sancho's going to come back now. He's on 300 grand a week or something, isn't he? You're going to be hard to shift him. It's going to be hard. I like Sancho though, but you don't use wingers. This formation doesn't use wingers, so he's wasted. He's wasted there. Garnacho, I'd get rid of him as well because of the system doesn't suit him. If you can get money for him, get money for him.
When I say I want to sell Garnacho, people look at me like I'm bugging, Shane. People look at me
if anything, it's just because of the system. If he's played wingers, I'd say keep him. If he did play wingers, I'd say keep him. He might improve. And he's one of those players that will go somewhere else. He might ball out somewhere else. You know what I mean? He might. If he went to Italy or something, he might end up having a great career. But if there's no place for him in the system, there's no point having him there if you don't. But on that though, Amorim needs to learn to be flexible with the system as well. And I'm just coming from an Arsenal fan whose manager refuses to ever change the system. Ever.
I know.
You know what I
And
mean?
he's stubborn.
It's so infuriating. He's so stubborn.
He's stubborn. And I'm like, and what I didn't like, the substitutions. This man make the substitutions at the wrong time.
Oh, man.
I'm Shane, I'm like, why are we still playing Rasmus Højlund? Why is he in the starting 11?
I feel
why is he in the Shane, when we played against Hong Kong, I forgot the name of the team, but some team in Hong Kong, the minute Rasmus Højlund came off the pitch, we started playing better.
Of course, yeah.
The minute he came off. Yeah. So I'm like, why are we playing this guy if he's not good enough? Why are we keep on playing this brother and he's shit?
Yeah. Joe, if he had to come into use, right, and use had a world-class striker, and he was just coming off the bench here and there, he might have been okay because he it's just they put all the pressure in the world on him, and United, that's a heavy jersey to wear. It's one of the heaviest jerseys in the world to wear, and they've got this kid in, and this falls on Ten Hag, man. He got him in, and he didn't get in the experienced striker. He should have got in even if it was a Jamie Vardy or something like that for £1 million, get him in and play him, and then let Højlund come off the bench and ease his way in. You know what I mean, and score a couple of goals in the League Cup because the pressure of the world is on that kid, and any forward will tell you. When it's like that, the ball suddenly feels like a bowling ball. The goals looks about that size. And you know what I mean? It's just impossible. I remember Robbie Fowler, I think, at Liverpool, I think it was, he went through a patch of not scoring 5 or 6 games in a row. And Roy Evans just had him one training session, just keep kicking the ball into an empty net so you could hear the when it hits the net. You know what I mean? Just to try and get it back for him. And he said it worked. It was a weird thing. It worked. Just took his mind off the pressure of scoring. But I feel for that kid, man, because I think there is something there. If he was just not with so much pressure and not having to start every game and then it's counting up, he's gone 1,000 minutes without a goal, he's gone 1,500 minutes without a goal, and it keeps building up on him. But if he's got in a top striker, I wouldn't be surprised still if he's got Gyökeres. I would not be shocked if he's got Gyökeres. I think he'll go to Liverpool, but I wouldn't be shocked if he's got him. If he's got someone like that and then he was just his understudy and the pressure was off him, you might have a player there in the future. You know what I mean? You might, but it's unfair on him to be the main guy. And you have Obi Martin, who is an absolute baller, by the way, that he's got off us, but he's too young.
Yep.
He's a baller, that lad.
And you mentioned Eric Ten Hag. He got the Leverkusen job. I want Eric Ten Hag to fail at Leverkusen. Fail
What
at
he did to my
Leverkusen.
club.
Yes, for what you did to my club. I want you to fail. But matter of fact, all the shit players you bought at my club, bring them to fucking Leverkusen.
Take them.
Take them with you.
I'm the same with
Fucking
Arteta. If he
hell.
gets another job, I'd be like, I hope you fail miserably for what you did to my
Yo,
club. Where would
yo, Shane, if I see Eric Ten Hag now, I'll slap him in his ball head. I will slap him in his bald head. That guy, oh my God, bro. Shane, you know what pissed me off? Oh, we're not ready for the league. How are you, the manager of Manchester United,
saying that?
come out and saying that?
Come out fighting, man. Just come out fighting. You know what I mean? If you don't win, then people will go, at least you came out fighting. Come out fighting, man. If you admit something like that, then it goes into the players' heads, and they're thinking we're not good enough.
Exactly.
Come out swinging, man.
Exactly. And some players that were sold to like Nottingham Forest and Benfica.
Yeah. Elanga.
I'm like, what? Why are we selling these players for?
Yeah. Elanga, he got about 4 games, and then they just
He
looked even good when he first played for United as well. I don't know what happened there.
Exactly. And we have players that been there for years that are shit, and you man don't want to ship them out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like Lindelof. Anthony is balling out at Pettis, man. He looks like a man reborn. He looks like a man reborn.
Yes. Although he lost the final,
take the pressure.
He's under pressure.
Yeah. But if Højlund went, that's what I mean. If Højlund went on loan to a mid-table team in Spain, he might start banging goals in. You don't know, like he just because the pressure goes off and then something clicks and they're away. You know.
Mm-hmm. Shane, my other question for you is right. If you were an advisor to the Kroenkes, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the Kroenkes are actually what's the next step, right? How would you advise the Kroenkes into the next step? Because I'm assuming that the first thing you're going to tell him to do is sack Arteta.
That's it. That's all of it. Yeah, but no, it would be that. It would be. A lot of people say now that they're. I think if he gets 2 months into next season or something, then it counts as sort of 1 year left, and they say 15 million or something on sacking him. I don't know how true that is, but you need to sack him now. And Views says it brilliantly. He goes, if your finger gets infected, and the only solution is amputation, don't wait until the whole arm is gone. You know, lop the finger off. Don't let the whole arm get infected. And we're getting in his signings. I thought Berta would come in and do something, but I'd advise them. It's the only thing is get rid of him. You don't have to start trimming the wage budget. But the problem with our wage budget is our highest paid players are Kai Havertz and Jesus. Jesus is going to be injured for the rest of his career. You can see that. He's not back till after next Christmas. You know what I mean? Havertz is a mess. But even if it's just a matter of, look, take 10 million for Havertz, take the loss and pay 100 grand of his wages just to get rid of him. You know, and you're saving to save money in the end. I think Aaron worked it out for the rest of Jesus and Havertz contracts. We have to pay them another 90 million, I think, just the two of them, until their contracts are up. That's how much wages. They're on $500 million.
Damn, bro.
Or sorry, $500,000 a week between them.
That's a lot.
$500,000 between them. Over $500,000 between them. The two players Havertz, we didn't have a player score double figures this season. First time in 101 years. Nobody's talking about it though. That should be all over Sky Sports News or all over CBS. Arsenal break 101 year record. No player got double figures. Nobody's talking about it because this manager is so protected. So I don't think he's protected by the board. He's protected by the media. And I think if Berta went to the board and said, I don't think you're going to finish in the top 4 next season with the way other teams are strengthening and this manager's lost the players. And then if a couple of players like Saliba said, I want to leave, I can't work with him anymore, that would push them. Because then they go, okay, we're going to lose money on Saliba because if he goes public and says, I want to leave, a player that was worth 80 million is suddenly worth about 50 million because the team comes in and goes, well, he wants to leave. I'm not giving you 80 million. You need to get rid of him. So I think that's the only way if we hit them with that they're going to lose money. But again, the Kroenkes haven't been great, but they've spent 750 million they've given this manager. They haven't been tight with him. They've backed them financially. You know what I mean? And just because they come out and say some silly things and they're not always at the games, look, I prefer when it was David Dean and people like that were real Arsenal men fairs. But football has changed now. Football has changed. Owners are different. And you have to roll with the punches. You can't get lost in the past. So for me, it would be that. It would literally be that. But if you have to stick with them, I would say then don't get him the players he wants, because we are going to get rid of him soon. You must feel it that we're going to get rid of him soon. Get the players that a next manager can use, not the Seskos and the Zubimendis that this guy wants, because the next manager won't be able to use them. I'd say get players that we can use when the next manager comes, and if he gets a song out of them, great. If he doesn't, then off him, because that's the only hope we have.
Facts, facts. Shane, I agree with you, Shane, because it's like you. Let's just say you have shit players. A manager comes, it don't work out. He leaves his shit, and then
Yeah,
another manager comes, he leaves the shit. It's just gonna be a big pile of shit.
that's
You
it.
know what I
And
mean?
it's
And
a
that's it.
snowball.
Yeah. And I tell people, yo, listen, it don't work like that. You have to decapitate the problem.
Yeah,
You have to you have to decapitate the main problem, no matter what.
yeah,
Because if you don't, it's just gonna continue and continue and continue, and people are thinking, no, it's okay. We finished this in the table. Oh, we're in this far in Champions League next season again. Yo, for a Man United legend like Patrice Evra to come out and say Arsenal is like a Netflix series, do you know how
yeah,
embarrassing that is?
yeah.
Do
And it's
you
true
know
though.
how
It's true.
embarrassing that is? And
Hmm.
for Thierry Henry was to come and stick to football, the podcast with Roy Keane and all of them, and said,
Yeah.
"Yo, say what he said about Man United and Arsenal building a building, and saying it's not good enough."
Hmm.
Yeah, a club legend, Thierry Henry, is saying that. It speaks
Hmm.
volumes. It really does. But
Yeah.
Shane, I urge you, Lee, um, Southern Gunner, DJB, and all the other genuine Arsenal fans, keep pushing the good fight out, because
Yeah, man.
you see when these people wake up, you see when these people wake up, and those pretenders like Agel, you are a pretender, by the way.
Mm.
You're a pretender, right? When it wake up, those fans are gonna turn on you. And so when
Yeah.
they turn on you, there's no way to hide.
Hmm.
So all of you pretenders out there, I want you pretenders to understand something. When the demise happened, Shane Gunner, Lee Gunner, Southern Gunner, DJB, and everybody else that was telling you the truth, they're just gonna sit there and watch everything unfold and don't say anything, because they've been saying it for time.
100%.
They've been saying it for time, but you men are too stubborn to listen. But
Hmm.
my grandfather used to say to me, if you don't hear, you'll feel. And if you don't learn, you'll learn the hard way. So Shane, they're gonna have to learn the hard way.
They are going to have to learn the hard way. But look, unlike them, when we beat Madrid and we'd all said we're going to lose, you need to apologise. And I was saying, come on, man. I mean, I've said it to them before. They said, oh, we said we'd beat Madrid, Gal, and I was saying, I said, yeah, but you say that we're going to beat every single team we play. So you're going to be right sometimes. You know what I mean? If you go
Hmm.
to a roulette table and say, I'm going to hit green, there's only one green on it. If you roll it 100 times, one time you'll land on it. You can't go, see, I told you I was right. You go, what about the other 99 times you weren't? You know what I mean? So
Hmm.
this whole thing that they say you have to apologize after this. Listen, they'll become insignificant when this manager goes, because they'll have there'll be no use for them, because what are they going to do? They'll just wait to see what manager we get. If it's a manager that me and Lee and people like that want, they'll say, oh, he's not the right manager. And if it's a manager that we don't want, they'll say, oh, he's perfect. And that's it.
Mm.
That's their existence. It's just going against the grain to try and get likes and subscriptions and all that sort of stuff. But listen,
I,
they'll fall away with the club, or
I,
with the manager.
Exactly. And this is the thing. I'm kind of glad you bring that up. I tell people, if you don't like what I say, you could unsubscribe and move on to
Exactly.
somebody else. You subscribe to persons that like to tell you the things you want to hear. I'm a type of person. I'm a very straightforward individual. I don't sugarcoat anything. I speak the truth, because you know why? I rather speak the truth than sit here and pretend like that I like what's going on. And me
Mm.
personally, as a Man United fan, I don't like what's going on with my club with the
Yeah.
cancerous Glazer family and these little specialists in failure, Ineos. But overall, I don't like what's going on in football in general.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
Especially one of my, especially for my main rival. If my main rival Liverpool is doing better than us,
Yeah.
right? Especially the team that we had a serious rivalry with, Arsenal. Y'all have a manager that don't have a clue, and I'm an opposition fan, and I see that this man don't have a clue, and he's still here. And when I needed Arsenal to win the league to stop Liverpool, this manager coming in the press conference and chatting bare shit and giving all fucking excuses. Are you
Mm,
fucking kidding me? The
mm.
one time I needed you to win the league, Arteta, you fucked us over.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what he does. That's what he does.
Ah man, like I feel like you should go to like a, you know, a team like in the lower division,
Yeah.
not even in the championship, below the champ. No, the very bottom of the division. Go coach your team in the very bottom of the division, because I
Yeah.
feel
See how you get on.
like if you go to the championship or League One, you relegate teams, bro. Go to a team at the very bottom that's not playing for nothing and build
Yeah.
character, build something,
Yeah.
because you don't have a clue what you're doing here, bro.
Yeah. Learn your
And
craft.
learn your craft, and then I heard Lee said, "Why do we have a dog on the training pitch?"
Yeah. 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 Exactly. Yeah.
Yo,
It's
yo.
all gimmicks, man. It's all gimmicks with this guy. All gimmicks. As
Shane,
Matty Southern Gunner says, he's a shyster, and he is a shyster, man.
yes,
That's what he is.
and Shane, I seen our club play beautiful football against one another. I seen
Yeah, man.
our cl- I
Back the way it used to be.
back in the day, and right now football has changed. It's not going to be the same. The way I grew up watching football, it has to do with passion, aggression, and that's the generation you're from. Passion,
Hmm.
aggression. You feel me? And you fight for the badge. Now everybody just want to be, a PR merchant,
On
um,
Instagram and stuff.
on
Yeah.
Instagram and all of this and all of this shit. But they don't understand what us fans want. Just you could do
Yeah.
all of that. You could do all of that. So just make sure you win me a trophy every season. It doesn't matter the trophy. Win me a trophy. Any trophy at all. As
Yeah.
long as you're competing, win me something, and you can't even fucking do that.
Yeah.
It's disgraceful, man.
Yeah. I fully agree.
It's disgraceful, Shane. It, it's
Hmm.
it's this it's disgraceful. And I feel like if Wenger was still at the club, y'all would have won trophies.
With that amount of money, yeah, with that amount of money that was spent,
Hmm.
Arteta's already spent double what Wenger did, like in 21 years.
Hmm.
So yeah, if he had been able to sign the best players in the world, and better players would have come to us as well, better attacking players would have come because
Mm.
Wenger's there. And listen, the people think that he had lost the plot near the end, and in a way, he sort of lost his focus a bit. But we were still winning cups. He won 3 cups in his last 5 years. People forget that 3 FA Cups
Exactly.
in his last 5 years.
Ex-
When it was meant to have been terrible.
Exactly. So Shane, give me your honest opinion when Unai Emery was at your club. Did you think he should have deserved more time, or what happened to him? He deserved to what happened to him.
Oh, he should have been given a lot more time. He should have been given a lot more time. He finished 5th with a team that was falling apart and got to a final, the Europa League. And in the next season, he didn't start great, but again, he didn't get the players he wanted. Again, it's the same thing. If he had been given 5.5 more years, like Arteta had with that amount of money, we would have won at least the Europa, definitely a domestic cup, and probably the league. And I mean that, man, because if he had been given that amount of money, look what he did at Villa with a lot less. You know what I mean? He never should have been fired. It was just that the board wanted Arteta originally. I don't know why. Probably because he looks good in merch, and he's the new sort of younger generation will like him, and it's worked. It's worked. They've got a massive young generation followers who think that, oh yeah, this is acceptable, and it's all about the journey, guys, and it's all this sort of stuff. And they've all fallen for it. So in a way, the board are geniuses for doing that. It's just the only problem is that the real fans have gotten absolutely screwed by it. You know what I mean? Absolutely screwed. We've had to sit back and watch this fraud talking nonsense in press conferences And we could see through it. And then you go, there's so many people that can't. I saw a graph that Normsky, big up Normsky, the legend, sent to me, that 3%, it was a survey done, 3% of Arsenal fans only 3% are very disappointed with this season. 53% were very happy. And about 5% were ecstatic with the season. So we're like, when that 3% is literally me, Lee, Aaron, people like that, and the people in our chats, and the rest of the Arsenal fans are all happy enough. So it was genius what they did. They aimed for the young fan. They push out all the older fans. All you see in my chat and in Aaron's chat and in Lee's chat is people, I've been a season ticket holder for 30 years. I've given it up this year. I can't do it anymore. All the season ticket holders, they want the season ticket holders gone, because then they sell single tickets, which you get more for. People come over from all over the world. They go to the Armory and they buy all the new merch. They spend 200-300 quid on jerseys. They buy, a 20 pound burger that tastes like shit. They buy a 10 pound beer, and they take all their pictures and they buy the programs. They're making a bucket load of money, and the younger fans just go, it's all about the journey, guys. Arteta told me it's all about the journey, so it's all about the journey. And that's in a way, they're evil geniuses for doing it. But this is the way sport works. But other teams have managed to do that without destroying the club. But look at Liverpool. The people give out about their owners. They tried to up the prices of the tickets a few years back, and the Liverpool fans all left the stadium midway through the match as a protest, and they said, "Okay, we're not doing it actually." You know what I mean? So it does work. You just have to stand up. The Liverpool fans are more loyal. Our fans are. We're the worst fan base in the world. United are up there with us for having a fickle fan base, but we're the worst by a long shot, man. We're all the gals and Christians and all these lads, man. They're the ones that represent our club, and it's painful. It's painful.
Shane, I have to say that in all my years of watching this beautiful game of football, I never seen football like this. I wouldn't imagine football will come out to where it's at now. If I could rewind the clock and go talk to my much younger self and say, stop watching football at this point, my younger self would have told my older self, shut up, you don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, COVID, but around COVID it got terrible. COVID was just before that it went really soft, and then it was just terrible. But I think from the 90s to about 2009-10 with United, with Ronaldo and all, that was the perfect period, I think, for football. That was all the World Cups were great. The Euros are great. The leagues were great. Like you said, the Vieira Keane thing is just a perfect. I think that just explains the whole thing. Two players that were brilliant players, but would also get stuck in. And that's just gone now. And it is sad. Hopefully it's coming back. This year seems to have shown with PSG winning, the way they play, with the way Newcastle play, they won a cup. The way Liverpool play, they won a league. Maybe it's the end of that pep ball thing, which when it works, it's great. But hopefully we'll see a change next season. Hopefully we'll see a bit of a go back to. It will never get as good, I don't think. But hopefully it will get back a bit. I think next season might be a bit of an improvement all around. Hopefully.
Yeah, that's all we got to do, man. Keep the hope. That's all we have to do. That's all we have to do.
Keep hope.
Is keep the hope, because it's embarrassing to watch, man. Like, only reason why I watch United is because I'm obligated to watch it. Because my uncle is the reason why I'm a United fan. I'm obligated to watch this crap. Because if it wasn't that, I could get fuck all. But because I grew up into this, I have no choice but to watch this shit.
Exactly. Yeah.
And it's just like, and it's like, I'm like, oh my god, Andre Onana. Oh my god. and I'm saying Chelsea's goalkeeper makes Andre Onana looks good. Yeah. And I feel like Andre Onana is shit. He is so shit. Yeah. And I'm like, bro, we got scammed by Inter. Inter Milan scammed the hell out of us. Because when Inter Milan was playing against Barcelona, their goalkeeper just used the tip of his finger to push the ball out. Just the tip of his finger. And Andre Onana can't even do that.
No, he's a terrible keeper. He's terrible.
David Raya is a better keeper than Andre Onana.
No, he is. Yeah. David Raya is an okay keeper, actually. I will give him credit. He's an okay keeper, but Onana is one of the worst I've seen. Terrible keeper. You need to shift him off to Saudi or something and get in an experienced head, I think.
Oh God, man, it's depressing to watch my team. It's
Yeah,
depressing to watch them. It's entertaining to watch everybody else, but depressing to watch mine.
yeah,
And it,
yeah. I feel the same.
and it should be the other way around, but it's not.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, 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 uh. So, people, we're gonna cut the show here. Shane, thank you for coming on, man. And people,
Absolute pleasure, man.
Shane's channel is in the description, so check him out. He's a passionate Arsenal fan. He's not a paperweight. He's not one of these kiss ass fans that you see all over YouTube. This is a genuine and true passionate fan. And a friend of mine, Hugh, checks in on his chat from time to time because I've actually seen Hugh in your chat, by the way.
Oh,
And
cool, cool.
yeah. So if you man want to learn something, learn anything about Arsenal, check out Shane's channel. Shane, you have anything to say before we end it?
Yeah, listen, man, absolute pleasure having you on. I have to get you on. What's the story? It's my version of this where I'll just go through with your Man United jersey. We'll set that up. I'll send you a message on Instagram later. We'll set that up for
Yeah.
a time that suits you. I'd love to have you on. Because the same, man. You're a passionate fan, and you know what? You're a real fan, and that's why I like spending time with fans that aren't just talking nonsense and oh, my team's better than yours, and fair enough. If a Liverpool fan says that to me, I'd have to go, look, yeah, your team is better. But when you're actually a real fan, then you're saying, look, if Bruno's not playing well, I'll call him on it. You don't, so that's, I like spending time with that. But listen, yeah, look, I'll be back for every morning on my channel, 10:30 GMT, if you want to say that, for the full Irish breakfast. But yeah, I'll be on my channel, Shay Good. I do a lot of streaming, so I'll be in and around other chats or in other panels and stuff like that with me and people like that. But listen, man, absolute pleasure coming on with you. I've really enjoyed it, really enjoyed it, and we will definitely set up you coming over to the Shane Gooner channel to come on What's the Story, and we'll go through your Man United journey. But thanks again for having me on, mate.
Yeah, man, for sure. People, we are out of here. Goodbye. Glazers out. Ineos out. And Cronkies, get the fuck out too, because y'all are shit too. Peace. Ah, shit, man. That was